Hi, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury, and this is another entry in what I've been calling my Vinyl Diary series, in which I show records that I've either just been listening to from my collection or I have recently acquired. And I believe all of these are recently acquired that I have not done a show and tell about. So that's what we're here to do. And I've recently set up to do an episode of a podcast. Ever heard of one? And I figured I'd take the chance to do this while the microphones are set up and all that. So that's this situation. So earlier this year, I was at a local record store and saw a copy of the Acoustic Sounds reissue of ballads by the John Coltrane Quartet. And for some reason, it was only $20. It was marked down from whatever it was, 38, probably something like that, closer to 40, but it was still sealed. Didn't really understand. Maybe it was left over from a sidewalk sale, which they do from time to time. And I've gotten a few things from there this year, but there seemed like there was no reason not to get it. So I did. And it's a really nice gatefold. There's that crack. And yeah, really lovely presentation of this Impulse reissue, mastered from Ryan Smith from the original tapes, pressed at QRP, as all the Acoustic Sounds reissues are. One of the most impressive sounding playbacks that I've experienced in this new place, this new setup. And yeah, what a great deal on a classic jazz album. The John Coltrane Quartet is with McCoy Tyner, Jimmy Garrison, and Elvin Jones. And it was lovely. What a score. Over the last 20 plus years, Mogwai has been one of my favorite bands. A ambient rock, mostly instrumental, although there are some occasional vocals which are usually very enjoyable. Come On Die Young is one of their classics. I believe it came out in 1999, and this was recently reissued last year. And I came across this in the record store, and I thought, you know what? It's probably worth having. Mogwai albums, for many reasons, have been hit or miss on vinyl. Depends on what label put them out, what pressing plant manufactured them. And unfortunately, many have been not great. And it's noticeable because of the type of music that it is. The very dynamic music, a lot of it can be very quiet. So surface noise of any sort, wow and flutter, off-center pressing, stuff like that. All of this is going to be more apparent with music like this. But thankfully, this album, this reissue, was one that came out pretty well, in my opinion. It's a double LP on white vinyl, printed inner sleeves, gatefold. And I picked it up for about $25, which, as I was listening to it, it seemed like it was worth it. Another reissue that I found at a discounted price, otherwise I probably would not have purchased it, is the so far one and only album from Palms, which was released in 2013. I used to have an original. I enjoyed the album, but the vinyl wasn't all that impressive, so I sold it at some point. And this 10th anniversary reissue I found in a sale and decided to go for it. And it did sound better to me than I recalled. Here's the gatefold on that. This is also an indie exclusive on white vinyl. Palms is essentially a supergroup of members of a heavy post-rock metal band called ISIS and Chino from Deftones on vocals. So the combination of that is pretty fucking awesome. And I would love to have seen this group live, and I would love to hear more of this combination if that ever happens. But If anything, this is a real gem, and now it's available again on vinyl and a better version of it, in my opinion. So, again, on sale, thankfully, I found this copy of Something Else from Ornette Coleman, which is part of the Contemporary Recordings Acoustic Sounds series. Again, all analog remaster from Bernie Grunman, the man from the original tapes, and pressed at Quality Record Pressing. And this, I've got some Art Pepper reissues from this series, and they're fantastic. So when I saw this, and I don't have all that much of Ornette Coleman in my collection, so it seemed like a good opportunity, and it was $20. Sounds fantastic. Excellent pressing, nice reproduction of the tip-on jacket. Everything about this is what you want from vinyl reissues these days, and fantastic jazz music. So after I heard one of my favorite bands, Third Eye Blind, cover a song called Disorder by Joy Division, I was reminded of how just outside of my purview, my taste, Joy Division has always been. I've always been aware of them. I've always known they were influential and significant, but I had never really investigated. So I did, and then I bought reissues of Unknown Pleasures, which has a really nice textured jacket, and Closer. I think both of these originated around 2015, I want to say. This is on a 180 gram clear vinyl, and Unknown Pleasures is black. Both of them seem to be of great quality. I really enjoyed listening to them, and I realized that I actually really enjoy this music. It took me way too long to figure that out, but I did, and now I have these, and I'm really glad. All right, and now a really random one. I think I found this in a discount bin, but I love Windham Hill. And I've been picking up Windham Hill records that I am unfamiliar with for years. And actually, I just realized recently that it's been just over 15 years now since I started collecting vinyl records. It was the spring of 2009. And I started by digging through 50-cent and dollar bins mostly. And in those bins, I saw a lot of Windham Hill records, and they looked interesting to me. And so I picked them up, and they sounded interesting to me. Ever since, I've had an affinity for this label, that sound, that aesthetic. So I saw this one, and it looked different to me. The font, the layout doesn't seem typical of Windham Hill. And this is from 1980, so I guess it's fairly early on. This is David Quayle, I believe. The album is Soliloquy. It's a solo guitar record. It's fantastic, as most of these are. Sounds great, great pressing. Windham Hill is Windham Hill. But it just did stand out to me, the way it was laid out with this typeset, compared to all the other Windham Hill records that I've seen or acquired. All right, I think that is enough for today. I definitely do have more in the inbox that I will share at some point, but I'm glad to get another one of these out there. And until next time, of course, take care and enjoy your music.